iron. Now, why do I know that the process stops with iron? Binding energy per nucleon curve. Why do we know it stops at iron? And it's the binding energy per nucleon curve. So if you look at the curve, look what happens here. Here's the curve. So let's follow the process here now, right? Here we go. So if I follow the process, I go something like this. Well, I know here's hydrogen. And then what happens? I now have a fusion process. So let's be more careful how I go. So fusion is going like this. It's going down. So what you're seeing here is that then all of a sudden I get to hydrogen 2. But what direction am I going? I'm going down. And then the next process in the fusion gives me what? Helium 3. And then from helium 3, I go where? I go all the way to hydrogen 4. Look what I'm doing. I keep moving down. And as I keep moving down, I'm getting to more and more stable atoms. But then look what happens here. I get to where? I get to carbon. And then from carbon, I get to what? I get to oxygen. I'm just an old man that can't remember shit anymore. So I have to bring up the periodic table to see what element I'm talking about. Sulfur silicon burning. And when you look at sulfur and silicon burning, it's around 30. So if I come up here, here's where I'm at now. It's around 30. So this guy is silicon sulfur burning. There's only one more spot I can go. Iron 56. So as I keep moving, you're seeing that in nuclear fusion, I have to keep following this path. Iron 56. Since iron is at the bottom of the binding energy per nucleon curve, no energy can be released via nuclear fusion. So, in other words, when fusion gets to iron, no more gamma rays are emitted. That's a big deal. Remember, gamma ray production no, that's not the way you spell production. Production is the life blood of a star. Something has to happen. Here's that I'm going to delete this and then start from scratch to make sure that we're right in the right place. So why does fusion stop at iron? And the answer is that it's because we have fusion energy comes from converting mass potential energy into radiant energy and in all other things here, into radiant energy. So that means every time, so every fusion energy is released. And that's a really key point, because what we find here is that if I go from hydrogen 1 to helium 3, there's energy released. As I go from hydrogen 1 to helium 3, we find that there's energy. Oops. And then as we go from helium 4 to carbon, so then we go from helium 4 to carbon 12, again, you get energy release. But what you're seeing here, that the energy release is smaller though. Why? Because it's harder to burn helium to create carbon. And then we keep going down the process, and you could see that the difference is not so great anymore. So then I have carbon 12 going to oxygen 16. Again, we get energy release, but it's even smaller now. So the energy release is getting smaller and smaller. And then what you're seeing here, we continue the process here. And the big important step here is that we know that here, this is silicon sulfur burning. And then as I continue the process, you're going to find that as I go from silicon to sulfur, well, and I get to iron, what am I seeing here? What I'm seeing here is that there, how do I say this? When we get all the way to here, what we see here is that when we get to iron, we've reached the bottom of the binding energy per nucleon curve. That means no more energy can be extracted from fusion. You're at the bottom. And this is so important. Like I've said before, the lifeblood of a star is the gamma rays. If there are no fusions, the star starts its dying process. Okay, the star starts its dying process. So one of the things that I should really say to you is I should say this here. So when we look at our sun, It's a smallish star. So it's not even mid-size. So it's less than mid-size. So it's a smallish star that will only produce elements up to oxygen. Other larger stars can produce all of the other elements up to iron. So iron is the last element that can be produced in stars. So the question is, what do I mean by other bigger stars? So here's what you find here. So when you look at stars, the sun, when you start to compare it, this is the sun right here. The sun is this little tiny speck. So this is our sun right here. And so as you get larger and larger, you have different nuclear processes that come through. And as they come through, they can produce all of the elements, effectively most of the elements, through nuclear fusion within them. And again, they have different. So what you're seeing here is that stars like this one, Antares, is extremely large. And can produce more elements than the sun. So it has, but the fact is, it always stops at iron.